and warm welcome to Big Talk, live from Nigeria's seat of power, Abuja. I am Edikan Michael. A lot of concern regarding today, most especially as in the absence of the President, Bola Tinubu, who is currently in the United Arab Emirates for the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, was able to commemorate and, of course, witness the Armed Forces Remembrance Day earlier today. But really, beyond the symbolic annual ritual of remembering the sacrifices of serving soldiers and fallen heroes, the Armed Forces hierarchy has been urged to do all that is possible to de-escalate the insecurity in the country and intensify its counter-terrorism efforts by decisively dismantling operations of Boko Haram and Islamic State of West Africa province. The President earlier in his remark charged the armed forces and called on them to embrace innovation and adaptability in addressing the nation's security challenges. He stressed that the country must continue to boost the capacity and the capability of the military, equipping it with the resources and support necessary to address the evolving security challenges that confront it effectively. He added that the exemplary service and commitment of the honored officers had not gone unnoticed, as he stood as a shining example of what it meant to serve the country selflessly with distinction. That's the concern of the President regarding all of that. But we'll have more robust engagement tonight on that very aspect. What are the cases that have been made towards the issues of the welfareism, compensation of the armed forces? That will definitely also highlight on the course of the show tonight. But let's begin with our attention to the local government. It really looks, after 6 months of the Supreme Court judgment, which was on the July 11, and that granted financial autonomy to the local government, ordering that their allocation be paid directly to them. There are a lot of concern after that verdict, which has to do with the implementation. It looks that the local government autonomy is yet to take effect, as governors have continued looks to frustrate the process. Some governors are having different view of that autonomy that was granted, financial autonomy that was granted by the Supreme Court, like that of Anambra State, who said it is a strange arrangement for them. We have to continue to work hand in hand with the local government to deliver development to the grassroots. But speaking with the media, our Gun Secretary General Mohammed Abubakar has expressed concern over the delay in the implementation of the local government autonomy. He lamented that issues about the local government autonomy had been complicated. While the governors continue to interfere with the process, he said that the situation is becoming complicated and suggests that arrangement has to be made for direct payment of the local allocations to the local government, which is a significant hurdle in this process. And now the local government chairman, who should have been advocating for these changes, are often under the control of the governors, leaving them unable to assert their autonomy. He also highlighted all of those concerns, which is, of course, pertinent for us to look at it tonight. I'm being joined from Lagos via Zoom by Oluwatomosin Adebukola, who is the Executive Director of Hope for the Masses Foundation. He joins us live from Lagos tonight to extract some of these developments regarding the local government autonomy, the local government, and the implementation of the financial autonomy, of course, granted by the Supreme Court, really supported by this administration. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. What is the concern about the back and forth? After 6 months, the Supreme Court gave a verdict that funds should be sent directly from the federation account to the local government. Some governors looks to still be interfering in the process. Recall there have been elections conducted. That exercise was marred with, a lot of wrong approaches in terms of electioneering processes. In all of that, it looks at the process after 6 months has not seen the light of the day. What is your concern about that?
Well, thank you so much for having me join you this evening. It's a pleasure. Right, then let's begin with the fact that the local government administration is something that we have been talking about from our platform for quite a while. And as much as we look at the federal government and the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for that judgment of the Supreme Court, for even daring to take the matter before the Supreme Court, we also must begin to talk about the amount of time it has taken this government to implement it. I read part of the comments of the special advisor to the president on communications, saying that the Attorney General the Accountant General of the Federation and the Minister of Finance are in charge, and apparently they are saddled with the responsibility of making sure that the funds get to the local government. So the question I will be asking is this, that both of them are in office, both of them are listening, rather than telling us exactly what the problem is and why the local governments are yet to begin to get their funds directly. Why are we hearing the buck being passed again to the Accountant General? Anyway, we must keep our fingers crossed, because this administration has promised that by December it would be implemented and the red funds will be paid to the local government chairman. This is January, so maybe let's just say that January and December are just a few weeks apart. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that something would happen in the next couple of weeks. But I think particularly that apart from talking about the funds getting to them, I think if everybody would just come on board and everybody would sit down together and allow the arms of government to function as they were originally designed to function, I think we will be having this conversation. That's my opinion.
This really takes us to as a follow-up to that question, because the president, I don't know if I've seen different videos coming out from the presidential villa, where the president have held several talks with stakeholders on the importance and the functionality of the local government. For the president, we can't talk of grassroots development without enhancing the capacity of local government. The current state of the local government is really more concerned, because away from the financial autonomy, one would say, are the local government entirely free? Are they having the capacity to do a whole lot? What can our country looks like if the local government has all the capacity it should? Would there be any difference?
My foundation actually talks about local government grassroots development, as a matter of fact. Let me talk about 5 key areas of development that the local government could help with. This is the image I want Nigerians to have in their head whenever we're talking about grassroots development. Infrastructure, economic infrastructure, governance, education, boosting private sector development and investment, and then social welfare, social protection network for the citizens. Those 5. Let's begin with infrastructure. And take, for example, a state like Lagos. For Lagos, the state governors have been magnanimous enough to follow the standard protocol and ensure that local government chairmen get their monies as having been. Now, the interesting part is in Lagos, you would see a local government chairman embarking on projects like building primary healthcare centers, like building a road network. There's a particular local government in Lagos, an LCDA for that matter, under the local government called Oshofe. Local government is called Agboikesu, where the council chairman embarked on a housing project. 2 housing projects, 2 still underway, but 2 were commissioned by the governor of Lagos State just last year. You see where this gets interesting. It wasn't even something that he had to do by himself. It was a public-private partnership to make this work. When infrastructure is put in place, the quality of life of people generally increase. And when the quality of life increases, you begin to see the people thrive. So when you stop local government from having money, then you can as well assume that our infrastructural decay will continue to go from bad to worse and then maybe terrible. The truth is, Lagos is the way it is right now. The forward-thinking development leadership from the governor, and because the local government chairman sometimes, let me call it competitiveness, a very good competitiveness between them, makes sure that some of them embark on projects. That's not to say despite all that have money, or a lot of them are doing very good. I'm just saying for those who are doing it, they are doing it better. Some have impact on housing projects, some have impact on road projects. My foundation did a tour last year, just before we had our grassroots governance summit, and we found a local government in Lagos that had done 64 roads, 64 different roads within his local government. Like his counterpart in the LCDA had done about 57 roads. So this is what we're talking about. Infrastructure helps the people to develop. When you have good roads, you spend less time on the road. Now, moving down to governance. Let's talk about good governance. If we have good governance, if our leaders at the local government, at the state, at the federal level, decide to give us good governance, this is what it looks like. It means they will be accountable to you and I. Every money spent can be accounted for. Someone wouldn't wake up in the morning and begin to spend money indiscriminately, organizing parties, attending parties. Good governance is one of the hallmark of grassroots development. You would listen to the people, you put the money where they need you to put it, rather than just investing and just put the money into parties. I went to the local government chairman's office right here in Lagos as well, while we were planning for the Nigerian Grassroots Governance Summit in the world. And it was interesting to see people come to the office of the local government chairman with Ashwebi, and that was all they needed. I should buy Ashwebi for my party, support me for my party. One said she was burying her mother, the other was burying the father. Now the interesting part is, when the chairman refused and said she's only going to buy house, just one, the person was crying, asking, oh ma, you don't like me, that's why this gas father. You see, the interesting part is, we do not even know how to ask for the good things, how to ask for the right things from our local government chairman. How will buying Ashwebi be a key mark of development? But that is how some people at the grassroots actually measure development. That's how they measure. When things like that are not given, they come to your house saying things like, oh, your child has given birth. Did you impregnate the child? No. That is not part of good governance. Your chairman attending your party and bringing money is not good governance. That's not it. Let's look at education. Education is another key developmental area that is saddled in the local government, especially primary and adult education. Primary education. And how can you imagine? We were talking the other day, and a friend of mine was talking about a particular local government in Abuja, Amak. And we were talking about, I think it was Amak. Yes, I was talking about local government where the primary school pupils do not have adequate classrooms to even learn. That is the work of the local government council. How can a local government council that gets about 900 million not be able to give you classrooms? Classrooms, come on, classrooms. So without the SDG, the person in charge of the SDG, without the office of the SDG, going around building classrooms, you mean that the local government chairman cannot build classrooms? There are local governments where they get their money directly. I know that in Abuja they do. I know that in Lagos they do. Despite that fact, there are still LCDAs and local governments in Lagos that have never prioritized building schools, building primary schools. That is saddled in the local government. Now, when you do not give the local government chairman that money, how exactly will that governor expect the people to enjoy good education? Then you find people going around saying, oh, our children are learning on the trees, our children do not have a conducive classroom, all rain falls into the classrooms whenever. Give the local government, see, the benefit of actually allowing the government to function is so good, it's so enormous, that it will even rub off well when the local government or the state governor who does it. And that's what I think the work of Babajide Sanwo-Olu, one of the things he's enjoying in Lagos, because he can actually just say, I give you your money. Nothing stops you from functioning. After all, your mate, your counterpart down the road was able to do this, and that.
All right.
Boosting private sector development and competitiveness is another thing. Just imagine the local government chairman I told you about that went ahead to start talking about building housing estate, providing housing estate. We all know that there is a housing deficit in Lagos. We all know what that is because of the influx of people that come into Lagos on a daily basis. Now, how do we cater to those people? How do we provide enough houses for those people? If every local government chairman follows suit and begins to create those kind of opportunities, don't you think we would have private sector beginning to jostle for these opportunities? After all, this initiative was supported by two different companies, private sector driven, funding driven, construction done by the private sector. It becomes more competitive for every construction company to want to get into business with the local government because they are assured. So private sector development also will create jobs. Just imagine the number of jobs that will be created in that locality. When you're building a housing estate, you're going to go from artisans to builders, to bricklayers, to welders, to electricians. Just count the amount of jobs, lower cadre, upper cadre jobs that will be created in that community, in that local government, all through the period when that construction work is going on. You create jobs when you allow local governments to function at optimum. And then expanding the social protection network for citizens, just to improve the quality of life of citizens altogether. Let's talk about how much palliative have been given. People have been carrying rice, beans, gari to people and distributing all of that. But that could only be done because the federal government was magnanimous enough to give money directly and say, this is what the money is meant for. And so in Lagos, we could see that it was done. In certain states across the federation as well, we saw that it was done. In the past, it was the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs that took care of initiatives like that. But just imagine that the local government has a food bank. You just envision it. Nigerians should begin to think about it. Imagine that your local government has a food bank. That food bank is located somewhere within maybe the most populated area there. Fully equipped, staffed, and then all we need to do as somebody who is needy or needs anything or needs support, all you need to do is walk up to that particular food bank, register yourself, and pick up what you need like it is done in France, like it is done in almost every part of Europe. Don't you think you have created a social protection network that would make people stop crying of hunger? But that can only be done when the local government chairman has access to his money meant for his people.
A very brilliant point right there, Oluwatomisin. But let me take you on the flip side to the argument of those who are afraid of this movement. They are saying we are battling with the issue of transparency, issues of corruption within the state. We shouldn't be concerned about if we entirely have these operational in the local government by way of sending this allocation to. How are the citizens or the indigents ready to engage the leaders and holding them accountable to resources that have been sent to the locals? Do you feel that with the level of awareness and participation of the people within the grassroots, we could have these transparency upheld within the local government?
Okay, so let me paint a picture for you. There is already transparency in the local government system. Let me tell you how that is. Do you know that if the local government chairman today gives anybody in his local government, I'm talking about places like, I use Lagos as an example because they have had the opportunity to, they have enjoyed, let me say the local governments in Lagos have enjoyed financial autonomy for as much as more than 2 decades.
How long in Nigeria, because yes, Lagos might get it right, but we should have a concern about how the local government, how the local sunrise and the government. We want to see how the local government get it right.
I'm not saying we're getting it right even in Lagos as much as that is done, because then, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying it's a very good example to use. But this is it, when a local government chairman attends your party and spreads money indiscriminately at your party, everybody gets to know about it. In fact, people count. So people quickly go to organize their own parties so that they also can participate and benefit from the largesse of the local government chairman. So you see, there is a measure of transparency already. You already know where he's spending the money and how he's spending the money. This financial autonomy really guarantees you one thing. The local government chairman does not have what we call a safety net. He doesn't. The executive governor cannot be taken to court until, of course, the news office and EFCC begins to investigate and all that. All of that does not apply to a local government chairman. It's like, funds your money, you report it, tell ICPC, tell EFCC, make enough noise, it goes to jail. No questions asked. So people need to know that there is no protection. There is no form of protection for the local government chairman. So by all means, give him the money and let him spend it. By all means, give it to him. Let him spend it. Let him siphon the money. It goes nowhere. It has no protection whatsoever. The same protection that applies to the federal government and then to the state governor does not apply to the local government chairman. It has no hiding place. So there is nothing stopping you from reporting him. There is nothing stopping you from calling him out. There is nothing stopping you as a person, as an indigenous, as a citizen of that community from asking questions and saying, how did you spend our money? And if he cannot give you any satisfactory answer, by all means report him to EFCC or ICP and let him be questioned. It has no safety nets. There is no protection whatsoever. Nigerians need to know that. It's not business as usual. It is not like the executive. It's part of the executive, but it's not like the governor, where you have to wait until he finishes his term, or the members of the House of Assembly will now begin to question. But in this case, he is not like the governor or the president. He is just an empowered citizen, democratically elected to administer the affairs of your local government at that point in time, with absolutely no protection apart from police.
All right. I'm casting my mind back to the time where, there was a community participation in terms of seeing what the roles of the people in getting society better. People participated like road sweeping, all of those activities, in order for us to have good roads. As at that time. But it looks that over and over again, we've also seen people always entirely waiting for the government for everything. Yes, we can talk about government and the role, but do you feel that we are missing it out from community participation, people also contributing, coming together to see how they can have access by way of sweeping their road and maintaining all of those infrastructure probably they may have in the local government? Because we are seeing issues of vandalism in some local government as we speak.
So there is issue of vandalism across the federation. And I think it is because in our hearts as a people, we are not good citizens. Let's be very sincere. Because when a man goes to vandalize a rail track or a bridge and he takes some of the metals, you hear some funny advocates go on social media and start saying things like, he did it because he was hungry. And I'm asking the question, when he sold that today and he goes back there tomorrow and he takes another and an accident occurs on that bridge, what happens to the lives of the people who were lost or the body of the person who was damaged as a result of that accident? Wasn't he also hungry? We need to begin to take responsibility as Nigerians. So you see, as Nigerians, one of the biggest things we can do for ourselves is to understand that good citizenship also makes good leadership. Because the leaders that we complain about every time come from right here, in the midst of us. They were selected, not elected, selected from amongst us by their political parties. And then we get there, we don't ask them for the right things. I just told you about people who visited the office of the local government chairman to ask for support for burial. Not for scholarship for underage children. Not for scholarship for children in the slum. Not for school buildings that they critically needed, but for support for a naming ceremony. For support for a wedding that they can afford not to do. We don't know how to ask for the right things. It doesn't, Citizen participation does not have to do with, okay, sweeping the floor and all that. What about protecting public property? Property that belongs to you and I. You pass through a place on a daily basis, and you see this congregation of miscreants gathering there every evening. Every time you come back, a net has disappeared. The next time you pass through the place, you see that the boat has disappeared. You see that the metal is dead. You see that something untoward has happened, and you choose to keep quiet. You are not a good citizen. We Nigerians must understand that. It's not about snitching. That's not what it is. It's about being a good citizen. It's about reporting and ensuring that your people protect you as a person, and the people around you protect the property of the country, because it belongs to you as well as it belongs to me. So if you see something happen and you choose not to talk about it, you are a bad citizen. Is a Christian. As a Christian, I don't want to report anybody. I leave them in the hands of God. God does not come down from heaven to make corrections that human beings have been equipped to make themselves. That person was breaking the law. That person was destroying your future. He was destroying that of your children. You must say something. You must report to the appropriate quarters. You must call the attention of the authorities to do it. As citizens, our job is not just to go on social media and accuse the government from morning till night, always looking for something that the government is not doing right. What about the ones that we as citizens are not doing right? I bought rice in a particular place a couple of weeks back. I bought the rice at if I wasn't even in the market, it was a roadside shop. As a gift, I bought 10 kg rice for 15,000 naira. I moved 15 minutes away from that same community outside of Lagos into Ogun State to visit another person. I tried buying the same rice and I saw it at 26,000 naira. Same brand, same content, same quality, same product, and same quantity as well. The same rice. And somebody was selling it at 26,000 naira. That is a rupee 11,000 naira on top of it. It will not cost more than 200 naira to transport you from the point where I bought it, the A point, to the B point. And then when we say, oh, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is not that. Have we forgotten that the person who has chosen to usurp, the person who has chosen to cheat you of your money, have you forgotten that the person is a Nigerian like you? So why not we start saying Nigerians are not nice, rather than saying Nigeria is not good? We need to begin to call ourselves out, ourselves. When I do something wrong, I should be able to tell my authority that thing that you did was very bad. Good citizenship is protecting your country. It's protecting your community. It's telling your chairman to the face and saying, sir, you cannot keep attending people's parties, spending our money. Sir, you cannot keep sponsoring parties, because people then will hear about it. We need schools. It is about telling your representatives, oh, we need schools in this area. We need hospitals here. Or this hospital. I went for a hospital commissioning and I was supposed to cover it as a journalist. And I got there and I saw that the BP machines, not in Lagos, I thought that the BP machines were not functioning. And that hospital, that particular facility was to be commissioned. I had to quickly go to the person who put that project in place to say, these machines are not working. They are not functional. So why are we commissioning a project that is not ready to deliver good governance or good anything, good health to the people? They need replacement before you commission it. And I drew a promise from the person saying, oh, please don't report this. I said, I have the video, the practicalized it on me. I know that it is not working. We will intentionally do a follow-up visit to ensure that when we come here next, these things must be working. I went back there, it was working. Oh. That is what it takes to be a good citizen. See something, say something, correct it. We can't keep keeping quiet. Allowing everyone to just work indiscriminately all over us. Keep talking about what is right. Ask only for what can make Nigeria better. And stop asking for things that don't matter. If you want to get pregnant in your house, deliver the baby and stop using our money. Stop forcing our representatives, elected representatives, to support your mistake or your plan, personal plan. No, that's not part of the things that we elected them into office for. We elected them to give us good governance, and that has to do with providing electricity, providing the infrastructure, providing better schools for our children, ensuring that our currency is sound, ensuring that we have an enabling environment to trade, ensuring that there is a social protection network for the poorest amongst us, ensuring that the name, the image of Nigeria is better in the eyes of the people of the rest of the world. We need that kind of government, not the one that keeps spraying money up and down, and then people keep hating them. That's the annoying part. When they do these things, you hail them. Why must you be hailing them when they're doing something that is, something detrimental to you? And I don't blame them, but the ones that usually demand for it. So we need to start demanding for the right things. Demand for only what is their duty. And then you will see that Nigeria will gradually begin to go from a country that does this. It will begin to really get a better image in the eyes of the rest of the world. If only the citizens will participate constructively in governance.
Oluwatomosin Adebukola is Executive Director Hope for the Masses Foundation. It's always a delight to have you on the show. And of course, the contributions are very valuable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to the next time. Do have a lovely evening, Nigerians.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. That's, of course, a concern about the local government autonomy. We'll just have to go on a very quick break, everyone. And once we return from the break, we're paying attention to the armed forces remembrance there. A lot of expectation about our government reward system, welfareism, a compensation of those who went ahead and stayed alive just to protect Nigerians. To stay with us on the show. Once we return, we'll be having that conversation on the program. And just before we get into that conversation about the day, let's bring you some clips coming from President Tinubu, reaffirming commitment to fostering a global collaboration in building a resilient, equitable, and sustainable future. He's making this statement at the ongoing Sustainable Week right there at United Arab Emirates Summit.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to begin by extending my deepest gratitude to the President of the United Arab Emirates, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed bin Sultan Nahyan, for inviting me to this Abu Dhabi Sustainable Week. I thank the government and good people of Abu Dhabi for their generous hospitality and foresight in organizing this event. This week, leaders from all over the world come together to exchange views and perspectives on how we can collectively address the global challenges of our time. The fight against climate change is not merely an environmental necessity, but a global economic opportunity to reshape the trajectory of our continent and the global energy landscape. As leaders, stakeholders, and citizens of our planet, we stand at a crucial and critical junction in human history. To succeed, we must innovate and decisively collaborate as a global community. As Africa's most populous nation and one of its largest economies, Nigeria recognizes its responsibility to demonstrate the required leadership on these matters. We have embraced the vision of sustainability that aligns with global aspiration while addressing the local realities. Our efforts are anchored on three pillars: energy transition, climate resilience, and sustainable development. My administration, we recognize the importance of reducing carbon emission and a just transition to clean and renewable energy, promoting environmental sustainability and economic growth. Our energy transition plan, like many nations, are aimed at diversifying energy sources and reducing our dependency on fossil fuel. Prioritizing the transition to cleaner energy sources as a cornerstone of our national development strategy. Nigeria is committed to achieving a net zero emission by 2060 in line with global climate objectives. We are developing the infrastructure to utilize compressed natural gas and electric vehicles. Nigeria also is investing substantially in energy generation through exploration.
And of course, that was the president of the United Arab Emirates making some concern about climate change and also calling for the world leaders to pay attention to the participation and the contribution of the Africa. Also the challenges as well, which he was underscored at the course of his remarks and his speech at the ongoing summit. We now turn attention to look at the armed forces members' concern made by the president and look at the personnel, the issues of welfareism, compensation. Which should be the priorities in a day like this, because away from the rituals of having to set January 15 every year to honor them, what more should be done? Are we really paying attention to also their contribution, and are they really rewarded enough, which is still a major concern for everyone? Dr. Chike Okogu is the founder Center for Ability, Rehabilitation and Empowerment. He joins us live here from Nigeria City of Power, Abuja tonight to look at this concern. Thanks so much, Doctor, for spending some of your evening with us on the show.
Thank you so much, my brother. Good evening, Nigeria. And I think it's us that we take a 2 minutes of silence, 1 minute of silence to honor those who have departed.
All right. I mean, the CDS, the Chief Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, has recently revealed that 60,000 children were among the over 120,000 Boko Haram members who voluntarily surrendered at his last count. And there are a lot of concern about should we look at how much life we've lost? Should we also look at the participation of the military in securing the nation? Are they rewarded? And the lives that have those that have actually lost their life, has there been due compensation to these families? What is your assessment about all of this?
Before we can make an accurate assessment, I want all of us, including the viewers at home, to shut their eyes for a moment and imagine a world where we didn't have these soldiers battling this insurgent. Imagine a world where thieves and Moravians, thieves are parading in your estate and there is nobody to stop them. That is what is about doing. I doubt my heart, and my heart goes out to all those who have lost their lives in protecting this territory called Nigeria. Young men, many of them old enough to be my children, sons and daughters, have died and are dying at this minute, as they speak, just to protect them. I don't want it to be just a period of remembrance. And like the military has said, the chief of defense staff has said, it is also a time to celebrate our military. To celebrate those heroic men and women who lay their lives down every day to protect them. It is not an easy task. And I declare here, they should not be treated with money. They should not be treated with respect. They should be given, tell them, they should be given their respect and honor. And I heard them, hello, can you hear me?
So I'm hearing you. Go ahead. I'm with you.
Sorry, please, I had a new technology. They should be given their medals, they should be given their honor, they should be paid their allowances, they should be given everything that they require. And every day, please, as we all go out there, when you see a man, a woman in military uniform, stretch your hand and give them a handshake, pat them on the back, salute them, tell them you appreciate them. For us at the Center for Ability Rehabilitation and Empowerment, we know that the military supplies us more persons with disabilities that we can even put, because they are victims of bombs, they are victims of bullet wounds, they are victims of repairs on the war front. We keep having them every day. And many of them are so traumatized, even have post-traumatic stress disorder from fighting these battles. So even when they come back home complete without injuries, they end up with mental injuries. They end up with mental damage. So today I think we should talk about two sets of people. Indeed, the living and the dead. For the dead, we cannot do anything. It is what it is. It's done. So we must honor their money, give them their respect, pay their family their duties and allowances and all that we give them. Treat them with so much respect. And for the living, which are categorized into those that are traumatized, those with injury and those with visible and invisible injury. Please, the government, I beg my heart again, for the National Assembly, who has doing this right and speak, to increase the budget for defense. I stand with support that. Because the more we pay our soldiers and our military, the more equipment we give them, the better we will all be. It is important that we take note of all this. And, Nigeria has what it takes to always, fund and give our military the kind of support that it needs. For their families, those who have gone, how do you take care of their children? What are the programs? We don't talk about giving their children and giving them benefits. Most of those widows, most of their children have not been trained on how to manage that money. So we should think of how we can incorporate freedom, because the military has its retirement plan of the armed forces resettlement center, things like that, quality initiative. That is one program. But for their widows and for their children, when you give somebody economic empowerment, financial empowerment, without financial knowledge, how do they manage the money? Because you suddenly pay somebody 20 million, they don't know what to do with that money. In a few years, that money is gone down the drain and they will come back to their own. And we also have schools where the education of their children is assured. As long as you enter in the military, you know that for life, or as long as you serve in the military, your children will have full education from primary to university. Thankfully, we have the military university, and there's a military university in my place, in the a lot of something. There's a military university there. I think there's an army university, well, they have university can do it. So from command, from the army, Navy, Air Force, primary school, to the command, Air Force, secondary school, Navy secondary school, to the aviation university and the army university and all that. They have a structure that they can embed the free education of students, of officers. So that in the event of the eventuality is where life and death is concerned, and they lose their parents, their education of the university is assured. Those are the programs that we want to carry out in celebrating and remembering those episodes.
And this takes me to what the Minister of Defense has recently said at the House of Representatives, that they need more funding. Of course, that for him, just 50 billion naira cannot really do the job, that they really need funding, and that those that are having a concern, is the funding really an issue? But some are arguing that it's about implementation, utilization of what has been allocated to some of these to the ministry, most especially like that of defense.
Well, it's a case of the chicken and the egg. Which do you handle more? Yes, they need more funding. Because the way you should be battling, everybody has made it clear that this battle is asymmetrical. In the sense that insurgency wickedness has to stand. So that's what I call it. How does the same person decide to attack, unmanned people, people who are unmanned people? So it takes only wickedness to do that only. And when people who are wicked are carrying out that task, they don't consider the people that they don't consider the people that are being harmed. So in that time, we have to be a step ahead of them in thinking and in all terms of the play. I sometimes remember one of the books I read in my younger days. I can't remember the title, remember this it's written, I think, as just after. I can't even remember the title of it. But in that book, the book I used, which I still I do in my study days, I did what you call one of my courses was national security. Human intelligence, so that human intelligence, is still more reliant and a good way to combine with what we call artificial intelligence and military intelligence. Because first, it's for human data to go and get the information. It is when they process this information that it now becomes feature or intelligence, as they say. So human beings have to go into those places. Those human beings, if you pay them, they use human beings that you call spies. Alright? Spies can be used to go into territories, enemy territories, capture information, which they now send to the military forces. Now, to fear an effort jet, just one jet, it's not because of fearing a jet to go on reconnaissance or rescue, as they call it. It's a lot of money. Not because of when you have many of these jets operating in different places. If you may say to let use drones, fine, drones are to be cheaper than running jets, but it takes money to also build, software. To get the software that will man those drones that can go into these places. You can see that a lot of mistakes have been made recently. Where they will send the drones to go and UAP, and then at the end of the day, when they fire those, when they try to take down the place, you see that mistakes are made and human beings, become the casualties of this collateral damage. Getting intel is very important, and to get intel means you have to send people intel. Because these people are there and they have high-tech communication gadgets, with which they can tell them, look, this is where they are located, and then they use their positioning technology to pinpoint exactly where they are. You can see the precision, how they value this kind of business, how the Americans do. That's the level of technology we want to go to, have maybe, the minister may have been talking about. And this technology costs money. It's not cheap. So I support the minister when they ask for money. And I think the thing that I said, the National Assembly has agreed that they will add money to their budget.
Yeah. Just before I let you go, you have been too silent politically. I don't know if you are still in ADC or you are making move for another party. What is the silence within this political, your political future concerned? Before I let you go, please.
People keep asking me that. I think it's too early in the day to say where we're going to. The science of governance now, as you can see, I've become a state man. From my days when my hair was black, everything around me is turning red, meaning that I'm becoming a sick man. Politics for me is not about going in there to amass wealth, it's about going in there to serve the people. So yes, we are also gearing up, we're preparing, we're working the government of the day, giving the kind of support we can give the government of the day in the ways we can give them, and by May, it will be 2 years, we will do their assessment, and after May, we will hear from us what is coming up. For now, I'm on leave. Nothing.
The compulsory sabbatical leave from politics. All right. We appreciate the work you do, Doctor. We appreciate all that you do. Of course, Dr. Chike Ogogo is the founder Center for Ability, Rehabilitation and Empowerment, a former presidential candidate of ADC. Of course, joining us this night to also pay homage to our stars, heroes, and those gallant Nigerians who actually had to contribute to the security of this nation. Thanks so much, Doctor, for spending your evening with us on the show.
Thank you very much.
Everyone, that's where we wrap it up tonight on the show. A lot of concern about the state of the nation, politics, economic. It's still a business of everyone. But we are still finding to see what government are doing on their end to getting things work. The National Assembly are having more interface with the ministries, agencies and departments just to be able to scrutinize the 2025 budget. But away from asking the questions, are we really sure that the previous budget have been well implemented? We're still on the concerns and the lives of many Nigerians. But however, we wish for us to get better, for the country to get development, we must get to participate, everyone, on what is on ground for the people. My name is Edike Micah. This is where we wrap it up and close the curtain tonight on the show. See you tomorrow.